Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Sea podcast. Dennis, as always, coming to you from a Greece that's getting already unbearably hot. So, do excuse me if I look like I have just bathed. And it's been a minute. It's been about 9 days of consistent uploads of short form content here because for about 4 of those 9 days, my voice needed to recover. Of course, I hope you all have enjoyed the videos from the celebrations. You all have enjoyed the EuroLeague themed videos in general. Of course, we've been also celebrating with the Erasitechni after a couple of titles being wrapped up. We will do a video on that either tomorrow or the next day. So either Monday or Tuesday is gonna be a bit of a special one in regards to the Erasitechni in general and some season wrap-ups. I'll keep you all updated. But today is one focus and one focus only, and that's Olympiacos BC. That's the basketball, that's our boys, that's our European champions. It's been about a week and it still feels surreal to say that Olympiacos are your 25-26 EuroLeague champions and deservingly so. Honestly, there isn't a better way to say it than deservingly so. We're champions of Europe. We're champions of the EuroLeague. It really felt like we were on top of the world for a while. It still kind of does, but we have finals ahead of us. Exactly. We are back after 9 days as champions of Europe, which is surreal. But I'll try and manage it a bit because, of course, I want to celebrate with you all. Of course, I'm more than hyped to be back here live. But I want to kind of manage stuff a bit because we still have a title, a very important title, and I'll get to it later. But first, to use the words of the man himself, Van Fournier, 5 out of 5. Finally, 5 out of 5. After years of hurt, years of sadness, years of disappointment, getting there again and again and again and again. Missed thoughts, missed opportunities, mismanaged defenses, for everything the traveling fans have been through, for everything we have all been through, we finally did it. We finally did it, and what a place to do it as well, what a way to do it as well. Here in Greece, in Athens, in the T Center. I'm not gonna go about it that much. Yeah, it's the Panathinaikos Stadium. Of course, it was celebratory work because we've lifted 2 European Cups now in 2 stadiums. Of course, we lifted the Conference League just a bit over 2 years ago in the Paparina, in the Hagia Sophia, and now we lift the EuroLeague in the T Center in Gate 13. But the most important thing for me is the fact that it happened in Athens, the fact that it happened here in Greece, and the fact that we could have so many Olympiacos fans there, so many Olympiacos fans around, and the fact that we could celebrate it like that because the scenes were amazing, the scenes were intense. Afterwards, as well, there was about 75 to 100K fans out on the streets, and I'm very happy to say that I was one of them. It felt like like a magical night. It really did. it felt deserved for everyone. For the fans, as I said, for the coaching staff, for Coach Barjokas, for Sasha, Pap, Milutinov, Dorsey, everyone. Everyone. No exceptions on that. And sitting here a week later, I mean, not really seeing anything in a clearer light because, as I opened the podcast saying, it still feels a bit insane knowing and saying that we have won the EuroLeague and that we will enter next season as the defending champions. Just trying to recap the entirety of the year, I never saw any gaps in this team. We were a deserving first place by far. I mean, the team, especially in 2026, the team went on an insane run. We proved ourselves against everyone throughout the season, no exceptions. We went into the playoffs against a team that we hadn't beat in the season and destroyed them. And yeah, I know the comments again, yeah, Monaco were 5 players and they were unpaid and stuff like that. It's still Monaco, still Mike James, still Kevarius Hayes, still Nedo and everyone. Still a quality team. And we're going to the Final Four against the defending champions. Mind you, we're going to the Final Four, a Final Four of 2 teams that have haunted us in the past. After a series, a playoff series with a team that's haunted us as well many times. We go into the Final Four. I've talked about the Fener game in extent in the last episode. We breeze past Fener. And then Real Madrid, because it is Real Madrid, expectedly beat Valencia, and we have a final. We have the repeat of 2023 and 2013 also. And the final starts a bit in a way like the one in London did, because we go down early. I feel like we were down by like 12, and then we chip away at the lead, slowly but surely, and then we keep up. We keep up amazingly, and in the end, we see it out. We could have been much more comfortable. Yeah, true. Because if we did kind of falter, it would have been so unfair if a team that went basically perfect for a whole season lost the title because they faltered for 10 seconds. But despite Real Madrid fighting back in a matter of seconds, I don't even remember who it was that shot the 3. A wide open 3 air balls. Do remind me in the comments who shot that 3 in the final few seconds, if someone remember. A wide open 3 air balls. Alec Peters picks up the rebound, scores the free throws, and we're champions. The smiles on everyone. The celebrations, Sasa celebrating with the fans. Of course, the fans getting the cup and lifting it in Gate 30. Pap and Friedrich celebrating together, crying together. Nico, of course, in tears. Thomas in tears. The scenes were truly unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen in my time of seriously watching basketball, because mind you, I remember the last EuroLeague, but I was 9. I don't think I've seen Coach B celebrate that much, and deservingly so. Once again, and with everyone having showed up perfectly, with the team once again showing that even if one person isn't on their night, someone else will show up, someone else will lead. Like a proper Hydra, honestly. Just such a deserving title. Let me get into more specifics. Honestly, I did see a comment that I want to touch on. EuroLeague is the best Greek coach, and he hasn't received the credit he deserves. I wanted to give a separate segment to Coach B, and honestly, for those of you that do know, friend-ish of the show that was on Twitter, no longer is, said it the best: for every death that has been wished towards him, for every threat, for all the media war, for every time he's heard something about his poor mother, God rest her soul, and every time he's been attacked, disrespected, and for all the war against him, because no one else would have been attacked so much by the media, by Panathinaikos, by Ike, by extent for some reason, by Panionios, and for all the green-controlled team, if they weren't one of us, because Coach Barjokas is one of us. Coach B will always be one of us, and after lifting this one, his basketball didn't only win. His choices didn't only get justified. It felt like divine justice. It felt like something that was a matter of time. It felt like something that needed to happen. I know he said that him, Sasha, Pap, they all said that the fans got the team back up, and I know we, and especially the fans that were there, every single Final Four, played the biggest part in getting the team back up. But to be a coach that gets the team to the Final Four year in and year out and year in and year out, and doesn't win final, semi-final, final, it takes a different type of strength. It takes a different kind of adaptability. It takes a different kind of quality to go on and do it again and again and again with no failure. And in the hardest, biggest, and most exhausting EuroLeague, he did it again, having the team play not only the best, but the most entertaining type of basketball we've seen in the past 5 years, having every single person show up to the fullest, despite being unlucky with injuries, despite being very unlucky with injuries, and having everyone know their role. A great mix of talent, hard work, and leadership managed by truly now a basketball mastermind. Coach B now goes into some very nice conversations, some very nice rankings, and it's not for me to say, but I feel like he doesn't even see a lot of people. He isn't even close now. And knock on wood, because the man renewed, everything is expected to be announced after the finals, as it should be. But it's a bit of a public secret now that Coach Barzokas has renewed his contract. It's either for 2 or 3 more seasons. You never know where he might find himself after his tenure at Olympiacos is officially over, and he probably retires. I don't think that people understand how much more freely the team is gonna play now. I don't think that people understand how much better the players are gonna feel after, for the first time after years, they don't play as almost champions, but they play as champions. And for Barzokas as well, that means a much clearer mind with a team of insane quality and much more efficient work. I do believe that we'll see insane basketball next season. I believe that we'll see truly crazy stuff next season. But again, that's not of importance right now. The most important thing right now are the GBL finals. Nothing else. Now, after touching on the mastermind, I want to throw out some pieces of appreciation, if you all will allow me, and do indulge me in the comments, give your opinions and everything. And I have to start with this man. He may not have been the Final Four MVP, but he was a regular season MVP. And as he said it himself, he's a man that dreamed of this moment non-stop. He's a man that when he left for the US, he knew he was going to be back because he knew his story wasn't finished here. When he came back home, when he came back to his family, to his port, to his city, he was imagining this moment, and it finally came true. I am, of course, talking about Sasha Vezenkov. Sasha, who really still somehow got undermined. He really still somehow got criticism. And we are still talking about Sasha Vezenkov, right? The man that did it all for us to get here. The man that showed up game in, game out, having one of the most insane runs of form throughout an entire season that I've personally seen, especially from like November, December to the end of the regular. He had an insane run. And a man that did his part perfectly, both in the game against Fenerbahce and in the game against Madrid, because even though he wasn't in the spotlight against Real Madrid, he picked up a very solid 12-4, and he was even very, very solid defensively, and he deserves this. He deserves this insanely. He deserves this, and it meant the world to him. You saw it from his tears, his smile, his celebration with the people. He deserves the love he got. He deserves the appreciation, finally. And as he is only the second person to pick up a second EuroLeague regular season MVP, with the pressure now off his shoulders, with a massive weight lifted. This won't be the end of his story here. It will be a beginning that not many of us can really fathom and imagine, and it will be a beginning that may bring on even more historic chapters, and a beginning that may see him as the first player to pick up 3 EuroLeague regular season MVPs. I believe that we'll see some insane stuff from Sasha Vezenkov, and I do believe that his stardom, his true stardom, will shine even more next season. And speaking of true stardom, true just pure leadership, pure effectiveness, pure everything and anything in between. The French magician, the man that speaks the best when the ball is on fire, and the man that showed up last season, put up one of his best games of his career, but didn't get there, and came back this season, put up a masterclass against Fenerbahce, and put up a masterclass and got the team going both offensively and defensively against Real Madrid, putting up 25-4, scoring some of the wildest baskets I've seen, scoring some of the most important baskets I've ever seen, and giving the lead to everyone else, so the team got there. The man that created his destiny in his teens without even knowing, by watching a random Final Four and loving and promising that he would represent the Olympiacos fans one day. The man that put out a public statement that if he ever was to return to Europe, it would be to represent and give everything for the legend. The man that has given it all up to now, and the man that will stay for many more years than people expect. The man that said he wants to retire here with many more trophies and many more EuroLeagues. Of course, the superstar, Evan Fournier. I've been called fanboy, and perhaps I am, because all Evan Fournier was, is, and always will be one of my personal favorites. But I've always backed him up, even when his regular season had its ups and downs. I kept saying that he would show up when it mattered. He would just show a masterclass of basketball when it mattered. And he even surprised me. After putting up his best game of the season against Fenerbahce, he went and one-upped it in the final. And after the game, he deserved to lift the title as much as anyone else. He deserved to lift the title with everyone else. And honestly, the appreciation he gave to everyone else, not only the players but the fans, shows enough for who Evan Fournier is, and it was always his destiny to lead Olympiacos to the beloved EuroLeague Championship. And as I said, for Sasha Vezenkov, this isn't anywhere near the end. It's just a new beginning. Because imagine how Evan Fournier is going to play now with 10 times the confidence, with the confidence of a champion next season. And as I said, he'll be here for many more years than people expect him to be. And that's honestly knowing that Evan Fournier and Sasha Vezenkov will show probably their best selves next season is really something to make you really anticipate what we're gonna see. Now I saw the comment, so I have to move on. The man with the unknown future, Hawkeye, as I saw him being called, of the Final Four, the man that couldn't miss, even if he tried, Alec Peters. Alec Peters heard so much unnecessary criticism throughout the season. Alec Peters heard a lot of stuff that was ridiculous throughout the season. People wanted to replace him with a lot of people. For some reason, people wanted to replace him with people much worse than he will ever be. And Alec Peters, that honestly received a lot of love, not only in the Final Four, but in the games against Ike as well. And of course, the incredible and very deserved news about a handful of Olympiacos fans showing up and wanting to give him appreciation, to show him that we all want him to stay. And of course, him and his wife were very grateful for all the love. He will always be one of us, no matter what happens. I personally really would love if Alec Peters stayed. I've said this ever since the beginning of the season, and I would die on the hill that I don't want Alec to go. But really, you can't say anything if he wants to. Of course, the most rumored team has been Armani Milano, where he'll be an indisputable starter. And no matter what happens, I'll be happy for him. And I can't say anything wrong if he wants to go get playtime. But I do truly want want stuff to end positively, no matter what. Either way, after so many years, he will always be a legend here. He is one of the main people that refused to give up over the years, one of the people that came back again and again, no matter where or how much he's played, whether you put him in the cup, in the league, in the EuroLeague, whether he plays for 5, 10, 20, or the entire game, and whether he plays at the shooting guard, the small forward, the power forward, or the center, he gave it 1,000% every single time. And for that, he deserves, of course, to make whatever choice he wants. And for that, more than anything, he deserves to be appreciated as a crucial piece of this puzzle of the EuroLeague Champions squad. He truly deserves the appreciation, an appreciation that I'm glad he's getting now, but hasn't gotten for a while, for perhaps a bit too long. Now, Nico Milutinov's post was very emotional, especially the photo with Captain Kostas Papanikolaou. And Nico did say that he came back because he was dreaming of this moment. He came back to do anything and everything to give his home, his city, and his family a deserved EuroLeague title. He came back because of the fans, because of all the love, and God knows he deserves it. Last summer, somehow people were debating if he should renew or not. Last summer, people were doubting him. Last summer, people were calling him all sorts of things. But there was a vocal majority, thankfully. And as here on the show, we're saying the same exact thing, that letting Nico Milutinov go would be a crime. And that Nico can be the most dominant and best big in Europe, undoubtedly. And that's exactly what he did. Taking the mantle of the starting big of Olympiacos, Nico Milutinov had the best season of his career. Nico Milutinov was everything. He was a paint protector. He was a rim destroyer. He scored, he assisted, he rebounded, he blocked, he stole. And all that consistently, with no breaks, and having behind him Derek Jones and Donta Hall, who also played a massive part. Derek Jones, of course, who was a season changer for Olympiacos, and Donta Hall had such, I'm not even gonna call it, I was gonna call it a redemption arc, but the man didn't need to redeem himself. His form was slowly climbing, and then with Derek having to be out for a while, he didn't only grab his chance, but he showed us some of the most athletic big man basketball we've seen, and all three of them easily proved to be the best front line in Europe, and they rightfully are champion. And with all three of them heading into next season, heading into the finals first of all, and then next season, I honestly couldn't be more comfortable, especially defensively. Now, speaking of comparisons of this season and the last, going from being out of the Final Four squad to coming into the Final Four as the most improved player of the EuroLeague, going from being a DNP to a necessity, Tyler Dorsey. Tyler Dorsey, up until the final step, had an unfathomable season. And even though he had very small ups and downs here and there, there's nothing you can take away from his season. I'm still arguing that he should have been in the first EuroLeague squad, in the first all EuroLeague squad, and he's easily the most improved player of the season, scoring from everywhere, bringing back Tyler time, having first quarter performances of a superhuman. This man felt like a whole new transfer. He put in the work, and he's so deservingly a champion. He is so deservingly a champion. And his connection with the fans, his connection with everyone, and his will to stay, his will to fight, and his will to do his best to get that chip, to get the title, shows enough. It honestly shows enough. And even if he had a subpar for his standards performance in the final, that doesn't take away a singular thing in my eyes, nor should it in anyone's eyes. And speaking about season changer, as I did with Derek Jones, Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph came in January, as did Derek Jones, and somehow, some way, it's still unbelievable to me that people doubted Corey Joseph. People doubted Corey Joseph for his weight, for his physical condition and everything. People doubted a man with over 900 games in the NBA for his injuries. They called him washed and everything in between somehow. And then he showed up. He worked day in and day out, and he showed up. And he is the truest, most prototype point guard that we've seen in Olympiacos, probably since AC Law himself. The insanity of his game is unbelievable. Corey Joe is now in a very small club of players that have lifted both the NBA and the EuroLeague Championship, and he needs to stay for next season. He definitely needs to stay for next season. You all know who our guards will be next season. I don't want to get into it now. I want to leave all the transfer stuff for after the finals, but he needs to stay. He is a vital option. Again, same as I said for Alec Peters, no matter how many minutes you give him, he will give you everything. And again, season changer. Easily season changer, but by a mile as well. And here is a man that played his first Final Four, a man that was only in his second season in the EuroLeague, a true out-and-out energizer, Tyson Ward. world, of course, now has completed European basketball as he has lifted the BCL, the Euro Cup with Paris, and now the EuroLeague. Tyson Ward, that was as close to a definition of a golden sub as you can get in basketball. The energy and the effectiveness he brought off the bench was game-changing, and that didn't change no matter the game, whether it was the first game of the regular or the final. He honestly turned out an even better addition than I think many people expected. And I'm so glad he flew under the radar in the summer, because as the same goes for everybody, we wouldn't be where we are without Tyson Ward. And I do truly believe that. Now, a catalog of players per se, a catalog of people that have fought out and out, year in and year out. Zach McKissick, Thomas Walkup, Nick Apap. 3 people that have been here for it all, along with, of course, Sasa and Peters, like we already talked about. Zach McKissick, arguably his most out of nowhere effective season in the EuroLeague for the years and years that he's been here, playing a crucial part in crucial games, even in the final, bringing in unmatched energy, picking up, of course, 5-2 and 1. A leader, a true leader, a true veteran of it all. And again, because we don't know what's going to happen with Zach McKissick, he's arguably one of, if not the best American that has played for Olympiacos. He's up there with some of the best foreigners that have played for Olympiacos, and he stamped his legacy with a fairy tale title, like he called it himself. And whether he stays, whether he stops, or whether he moves away, he's certainly a legend. And so is Thomas Walker. Thomas, who had a consistent and effective season, despite being doubted, despite his physicality after his harsh injury also being doubted. He had a great season that got topped off with a very deserved title after all he's given as a non-stop starter of this team. And what's there to say about the captain, honestly? K-pop had us all in tears, not only from his celebrations, not only for the season he's given, his speech after, of course, as he said that Olympiacos really means being here at 5 a.m. and still celebrating. He gave his appreciation to Coach Barjokas. He gave his appreciation to the people, the team. And a funny moment that I still talk about is when he was called to the stage to lead the team to the stage, and he said, "No, I'm going to stay here with my people." And honestly, he deserves it as much, and if not more, than a lot of people. He's been here for it all. He's been here unconditionally in the worst and the best of Olympiacos. And after span and predecessors. Him. He is Olympiacos. He is the embodiment, the current embodiment of Olympiacos. And maybe he can get one more in him as a captain. You never know. The celebrations, of course, were insane, celebrating with everyone. I saw a quote saying that there's no other club that can have you in the streets with thousands and thousands of strangers and having you feel like they're your family. And I do truly believe that the feeling that Olympiacos gives no other club can truly give. All-night celebrations that we've all been waiting for years on end. And when I say all, I mean everyone, from the staff to the players to the fans. But as much as we all loved it, there is one more thing. And that's the finals. Panathinaikos barely scraped by PAOK, as we comfortably beat. Of course, I want to give my respect to Dimitris Fionis, that lost his father and still wanted to play in game 2. Massive, massive respect to him. And for those of you that haven't seen what Donta Hall said and how much respect Donta Hall gave to him, please go do so. And now we have some of the most insane possible finals. Of course, Coach Ataman has already said some stuff. He's gone back to his factory settings of complaining about Olympiacos have advantages and stuff like that. And he said we're the better team and we'll prove it by bringing the league back. The fans are mad, crying. Everyone's crying. Panathinaikos fans said that, oh, everyone in Europe hates you now. Meanwhile, the people that are crying are Panathinaikos fans, Fenerbahce fans, Real Madrid fans, and AEK fans. Let me not burst out laughing. So a toxic climate has already been set, as with every time, but I do truly, truly believe in the team. We have advantages. We have a huge advantage. At the 5, if everyone shows up, which they do need to show up, like they did in the Final Four, because it's of course it's not a title to be ignored. It's the league title, but Pan are not to be underestimated. We need to keep our heads down and finish off what already is a historic season perfectly. And then we can enjoy laughing at them afterwards. We can enjoy laughing at their spiral. Thank you all for joining me. I hope I wasn't too rusty. I hope you all enjoyed today. Leave your thoughts in the comments, how you celebrated, and what your predictions are for the finals. I'll save my predictions for now. Of course, I'm confident, but I'll save my predictions for now. And I'll see you all in the next few days so we can celebrate the Erasitechni as well. Can't wait for more Olympiacos success. As always, your support is unbelievable. I can put it into words. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.